Hello and welcome. I am very excited for today's episode because the poem we'll be going through is one of my personal favorites that I've ever written, even to this day. I wrote it like over 4 years ago, and even now, it's still just one of my favorites and so important to me. And so, if you're new here and you don't know what we're doing, we're going through my poetry book called Maybe Someday, which I wrote when I was 17 and 18 and really helped me to work through a lot of the things I was struggling with at the time and get to a much better place in life and, yeah, just find a greater happiness and hope. And this poem was a very important one in that, in like helping that process get started for me. It was one I saw that I even now still see as very much like a turning point for me and taking a bit more of a hopeful perspective after some of those early ones that I've gone through before where I was completely hopeless. Even though, like, throughout the rest of this book, there's a lot of stuff about like personal struggles and dealing with those things. But before this poem, it was with a little bit less hope. And after this one, I at least had some bit of hope to carry with me throughout the rest of those years and throughout the rest of writing these to help guide me through. And yeah, that's what Focus on the Moon is kind of all about. So, as I normally do, I'll start by just kind of reading out the poem, and then afterwards, we will go a little bit deeper into the like main concepts behind it and break down like a bit line by line what certain things mean to me and why I wrote this the way I did. And there's a specific concept that I really thought about when I was writing this that I really hope that you can pick up on as I read it. But we'll go through that after we finish reading the poem. But yeah, here is Focus on the Moon. Out in the night, barely a cloud in the sky, but you can't see the ground in the endless darkness surrounding you. Just focus on the moon. Focus on the moon. Focus on the moon. The trees blur the boundary between above and below. You can't find your way out, can't find your way home. The sea searches, growing rougher as it flows. It can drown your heart out as its beat starts to slow. The leaves rustle loudly, breathing all you've ever known. You lose sight of what's ahead. You lose sight of home. But although you feel like you may have lost all of your hope, just focus on the moon. It'll lead you home. Just focus on the moon. Focus on the moon. Focus on the moon. Let the stars fill your view. They'll take care of you. You'll be safe soon. Just focus on the moon. The serpent of your sorrow binds you up inside its coils. Its constriction holds you tight. You'll slowly suffocate here, but you know, an infection from its bite. As you walk on through the forest, every step becomes a struggle, no protection from the plight. Let yourself be illuminated by the moon's glow, a reflection of the light. Take the bit of light you have and find your way. Fix your eyes, try to focus, clear your head of the pain. And as the mud piles on your clothes, colors covered by cracked clay, no matter what, don't be deceived, it's not a stain. Just focus on the moon. Focus on the moon. Focus on the moon. Let the stars fill your view. They'll take care of you. You'll be safe soon. Just focus on the moon. Pull it in a little closer and let it lift up the tide so the water can wash away your pain. Just focus on the moon. Focus on the moon. Focus on the moon. With all that life has put you through, looking on the bright side's not an easy thing to do. So just hold on, hold the hope you have. The sun will come out soon. Just focus on the moon. Focus on the moon. Focus on the moon. Focus on the moon. So that was Focus on the Moon. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe even found some things that you could personally connect with within my words, or maybe there were just some things that stood out to you. Maybe some lines that you particularly liked from there. Anything like that. I'd love if you would be interested to share your interpretations or thoughts or anything like that in the comments. That's always a rewarding thing for me to be able to like see how my words can connect with other people. So if anything stood out there, you just liked in any way, yeah, of course, you're welcome to share that. So, as I said before, this is a poem that I am personally very proud of. It's one of my earlier ones that really stood out to me as like, this one is really special. And so, as I said before, there's kind of that main concept that drove my ideas with writing this and was like the main inspiration behind it. And that was like that idea about the moon being a reflection of the sun. This whole poem kind of takes a perspective like of there being this like person who's lost in the night, like kind of supposed to be like this whole thing is representative of like personal like mental struggles or whatever emotional things. So like just being like a dark place in your life in a way, and feeling completely lost in the night as it describes there at the beginning. And at least for me personally, when I would be in those like low points and really struggling with something and just feeling like overwhelmingly depressed or anything like that, and I just like completely lost sight of the light, or in this case, like the sun, I would get like comfortable there and resistant to like positivity or anything good, because I just like when I would be like in those low points or dark place with myself, a lot of times I felt like people would try to force me back into the light. Like they would say things like, just look on the bright side and just try to smile, or would do things to just try to cheer me up in these ways. And while I mean I understood and appreciated their intentions, for me it's like if I mean I guess some sort of connection I could make here is with a song "I'm Not a Cynic" by Alec Benjamin. That song, uh, like really in a lot of ways, connects with some of the things I was trying to say here, where he like kind of describes how when he's like going through a dark time or like is having a bad day or something, he just needs to like let the storm pass through and just accept this like struggle at the moment, instead of always trying to just like force yourself to look on the bright side or anything like that. Just kind of sit through the storm and know that it will pass. But yeah, for me that was something I really struggled with like people trying to just encourage me to keep on pushing through in a unrealistic way, because like I was obviously struggling with things. I can't just ignore it and choose to be happy. And I wanted to like work through these things, make it through it, and then come out to the light once I was like genuinely ready for it. And so the moon is, like as it is, like the light from the moon is a reflection of the sun's light. And so with this poem, I was trying to encourage myself mainly, but then I mean any reader too or listener, that even if you are in that dark place, don't just let yourself be entirely consumed by it, because that's not good either. Even if like maybe you don't want to just like force yourself into the daylight right away, you don't want to be just stuck in that darkness forever. That's not good either. So trying to find a bit of a medium where you find something that can be a sort of reflection of the light, like a moon in the sky to guide you through the night, provide that little bit of light you need, that little bit of something to look up to, and give you a bit of hope to guide you through. And for me, my moon was my writing, and I mean, even still is now, but so writing this poetry became that little glimmer of light that I could look toward to help guide me through the things I was struggling with at the time. And I mean, as we can see now, several years on past from that, while of course, as I say, like, I'm not like in an exactly perfect place with myself and everything, but like far better than where I was then. Like, I'm a much happier person, much happier with my life, have so much more hope, and no longer just consumed by the darkness of the night. And yeah, having this poetry as a moon to guide me through was really helpful. And so I hope that you have some sort of moon that you can look toward, whether it's a person in your life or something you do or whatever it is. I just hope that you have some sort of moon that can guide you through when you're like lost in the night. And if you don't, that maybe this can encourage you to try to find something like that, and that you can find some hope and make it through whatever night you may be going through or may be going through in the future. So now I'd like to go a bit deeper into like specific sections here and specific lines to break down exactly what I was intending with those and give a little bit more detail and context behind this poem. So that first stanza there, just kind of setting the scene, kind of what I described, being lost out in the night and completely hopeless with no sense of direction. But starting off that repetition of focusing on the moon. So then in the second stanza, that first line, the trees blur the boundary between above and below. To me, the trees were kind of representing like my own thoughts, and like I'm like lost within my own thoughts, this forest in my mind. And sometimes it felt like my thoughts kind of blurred the boundary between what's like good and bad or right or wrong, or just kind of made me lose sense of where I truly am and what I should be doing, and whether this is like truly good for me or not. Like, should I feel this way, or should I try to find my way out? The sea searches, growing rougher as it flows. It can drown your heart out as its beat starts to slow. The sea there was kind of representing like my emotions and how they could become so overwhelming and kind of drown out how I truly feel a lot of times. Like the core of who I am, like deep in my heart and how I feel, was starting to feel like it was fading away and being overwhelmingly consumed by whatever emotions I was dealing with. Then with the leaves rustle loudly, breathing all you've ever known. That's kind of referencing like bits of trauma coming back to like to haunt you and stuff. Like of course I said like the trees are like my thoughts, and then like the leaves from them are specific like bits of trauma or regrets and things like that that fall off of those thoughts. And then like as I say, they're like breathing all you've ever known, like those things from your past that you've been tied to and kind of define you in a way. They just like fall down from those trees and blow all over you in your way, and just kind of become this like whirlwind of like leaves in the wind that just keep coming back, like regrets and traumas often do. Like and yeah, it just makes me like lose sight again of where I'm really trying to go and lose sight of that hope. But again, reminding myself that even though it may feel like it's completely hopeless, and that I'm in such a dark place that I'll never escape. That if I just focus on the moon, what if I just hold on to that little bit of hope I have, I'll find my way out of this night. I'll find my way home. I'll find my way to the light. So then there's that kind of repeated part about focus on the moon. And just that's supposed to be like a consistent reminder throughout and a comfort that even though there's all these struggles with I deal with in different parts throughout this poem, consistently having that reminder to just focus on the moon, and that if I hold on to that little bit of light I have, I will be safe and I will make it through. So then there's the serpent of your sorrow binds you up inside its coil. Its constriction holds you tight. So, I mean, when I would feel sad and depressed and stuff, it just feels like a lot of times like it's got you by the throat and it's like choking you, and like there's no space to breathe, and like it completely embodies me. And so that's what I was kind of trying to explain, or so that's kind of what I was trying to describe there. And like it really feels like this snake just wrapping itself around me and holding me tight there in that sad spot and not giving me any space to breathe. And it just, then as I say, you'll slowly suffocate here, but you know an infection from its bite. So that sorrow would, like, it felt like it had like poisoned me in a way, like that snake had like bitten me and its venom had like gotten into my blood and made me feel like this is good, like I should feel this way. And so then I would continue to put myself back into that place of sorrow, like as I say, they're like, but you know, like I know I've been here before, but I just keep letting it happen and doing it to myself sometimes because I've just been sort of infected in a way by the serpent of my sorrow. So then, as you walk on through the forest, every step becomes a struggle, no protection from the plight. Once I'm deep in this place of sorrow, just trying to even do simple things in my life and take any sort of steps forward in any way just felt like impossible, and that there was no way to protect myself from all the negative things that I was feeling and were happening, and just completely feeling vulnerable in a way, and like I was lost in this like dark forest with nothing to protect myself with. But then again, there's that reminder to let myself be illuminated by the moon's glow, that reflection of the light, even though it may be dark now and seems completely hopeless. Try to find that little bit of light that can serve as a guide and a bit of hope through that darkness. And so then in that next part, I think the most important part there is where it says, and as the mud piles on your clothes, colors covered by cracked clay, no matter what, don't be deceived, it's not a stain. Firstly, I just like that bit of alliteration I did there. But also the idea of that is that even as you like trudge on through this forest and you may be like covered in dirt and scratched by things you walk by and are just like I say there, like the mud piles on your clothes, colors covered by feels like a tongue twister sometimes. As the mud piles on your clothes, colors covered by cracked clay, those things you're dealing with continue to pile up on you and make you feel even worse. And cover that bit of color you have. They like desaturate you in a way and make you feel lifeless no matter what. Don't be deceived, it's not a stain. That can change. That mud can be washed out and you can feel vibrant again. So then after that focus on the moon part repeats again, there's that little section where it says pull it in a little closer and let it lift up the tide so the water can wash away your pain. That's kind of referencing like how the moon like pulls the tides and stuff, but sort of meaning take that like moon you have for me, like as it was writing this poetry, and pull it in a little closer. Try to get yourself like closer with that bit of hope you have, and that way it can like lift up the tide, lift up the way you feel, and start to wash away that pain that you're like embodied in at the time, and so you can start getting to that better place and make it to the daylight. Then again, after that, it kind of repeats a varied version of the focus on the moon part, and this ending bit of it is personally one of, if not the number one favorite part of this poem for me, where it says, with all that life has put you through, looking on the bright side's not an easy thing to do. So just hold the hope you have. The sun will come out soon. Again, there's a little bit of alliteration there and a bit of a fun rhyme. As you know, if you've been around here a lot, I love kind of messing around with rhyme and different things like that. So that part was a fun part to write, but yeah, just kind of reminding myself that with all these struggles I've dealt with and compressed within myself for so many years, I shouldn't expect myself to just be able to easily look on the bright side and be happy all the time or anything like that. I recognize with myself that that's not an easy thing to do. But regardless, I need to just hold on, don't give up, and keep hold of that hope that I do have. Keep looking up to the moon, that reflection of light. Because as long as I do, the sun will come out soon. I will get to that better place, and I will find a time where I'm happy and full of hope. So, of course, I again hope that you enjoyed this poem and this video, and that you can find some sort of moon in your own life to guide you through when things get tough, if you haven't already. And that maybe even my own writing can be some sort of like conduit of hope for you, and be something to give you a bit of hope. Ultimately, as I wrote these poems, I was just writing them for me to be some sort of moon for me and something to help guide me through. And the reason I chose to then publish them and share them in these videos with you is because I recognize that there may be other people who are struggling with similar things or who need some bit of hope in their own lives. And so just hoping that my stories and my writing can be something to potentially help improve someone else's life in some way. And next time we will be going through the next poem in my book, which is called Seafloor, and it's another one that I really liked from early on, and I think has a bit of a clever concept behind it. And so I hope I'll see you there next week, and of course I would greatly appreciate it if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, if you would subscribe and be here for the next for the next video, and of course like the video if you enjoyed. And I mean, if you really want to also, there's all the previous videos from all the other poems we've already gone through already up on my channel that you can check out if you'd like. And yeah, so as always, just remember, we're all broken and we're just arranging the pieces. Thank you.